than anybody else's shopping cart, but that it holds as much for less. And when people see how much less everything costs at F&M, health and beauty aids, cosmetics, household supplies, well, that's why people who shop at F&M stock up at F&M. So the next time you're filling your cart at F&M distributors and it seems like you're getting more and more, remember, you're getting it for less and less.
No one could love our kids more than we do. We want to nurture them and nourish them forever. And giving them new Mr. Turkey skinless turkey breast can help. It's one of the leanest cuts of turkey there is. Mr. Turkey tastes so good you'll start a healthy habit they'll hold on to for a lifetime. That way, when you're not holding them, they'll still be holding on to something good. Mr. Turkey.
Paul Douglas on KARE 11 News.
Welcome. I'm Corbin Seitz, and this is Between Friends.
And I'm Colleen Lopez, and our second day. Feels kind of good to have one day under the belt, you know?
It really does. We're glad yesterday's over with. We're glad all of you at home are joining us. Today on the show, we're going to reacquaint you with some of your familiar friends from television here in the Twin Cities. We have invited some of the former anchors, and there you see Cindy Bricado doing her thing as she is doing it now on radio, and you're going to meet Cindy a little bit later, as well as some other anchors, and find out the trials and tribulations of television.
Sounds great. Should be very interesting. I also want to mention that the KARE 11 Health Fair is going on right now. For those of you that have visited the health fair, it's going on in your area. If you haven't been there yet, a little bit later on, you're going to meet some people whose lives have really been affected quite dramatically by going and checking things out at the health fair. Speaking of that, I was telling Corbin, my little 5-year-old son, Thomas, 3 a.m. this morning, comes into our bedroom, "Mom, I itch all over." He's scratching chicken pox from head to toe.
Yeah,
now,
so if we're not here tomorrow.
There's a footnote to this. Corbin or I haven't had chicken pox.
Ta-da!
We don't think. I don't remember ever having them, do you?
No, I think we would have remembered.
So,
I think we would have remembered. So if we're not here tomorrow,
or if we show up with little red dots, just bear with us.
Yeah, that's right. Also, we're going to help you get your yard ready and those flower beds ready to help spring come a little bit sooner to your particular abode. I think that we hate winter so much here because it goes on so long that we can't wait to do that. So we're going to give you some good tips.
Yeah, I think we all are looking so forward to getting out there and digging in the dirt, getting into our yards a little bit.
You know, I was mentioning that we have the female anchors with us today. Television is such a fickle business, and you don't have to be in it to know that. You read about it, you hear about it. One day you're on the air, one day you're not on the air. Sometimes it is by choice. You want to leave the business because it's kind of a tough business a lot of days of the week. And sometimes it's not by choice. Well, we have some very familiar faces that are going to tell us all about the behind the scenes of being in television news. Why don't we go get reacquainted with them right now? Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Now, I know that all of you all are going to recognize these guests, but I'm going to quickly refresh your memory and go down the line here. We have Cindy Bricado sitting next to me. Hello, Cindy. Welcome.
Nice to see you again,
Cindy, formerly of KSTP.
Right.
And we have Marcia Fleur next to her from WCCO and KSTP. Welcome, Marcia.
Thank you.
And Deborah Ely on the end, and she is formerly of WCCO. And we thank all of you all for coming. And we have one more guest that's really not a guest. Some of you may remember Ruth Spencer. Ruth, of course, is the most recent, I think, in our mind as far as someone who was on the air and then wasn't on the air. And Ruth is not here for a couple of reasons. One is that she has a new job, and we're going to show you a little bit of Ruth doing her job right now.
Let me take this moment to welcome Ruth Spencer and formally introduce her to you, our viewers. Ruth joins me at the anchor desk every day now at 5:30. Ruth, welcome.
Thank you. Very nice to be here. Well, originally California, but most recently I worked in Minneapolis as an anchor.
All right. It's a pleasure to have you here. Looking forward to working with you.
Pleasure working with you, too.
Thank you much, Ruth.
Believe it or not, Ruth just started that job yesterday at WDIV in Detroit as the evening news anchor, and we wish her certainly all the best. There's another reason that Ruth isn't here, because she had, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with this, a no-compete clause in her contract so that she could not appear on the air in the Twin Cities for a certain amount of time. She is, however, suing Hubbard Broadcasting, and I want to get this correct here, for intentional misrepresentation and negligent misrepresentation, and that lawsuit is still pending, so you'll be seeing a lot about that, I'm sure, in the media in upcoming weeks. Welcome, all of you all. Cindy, I would like to start with you. When you got your job as a news anchor at KSTP, you had been in the news business for a long time. Did you feel like you'd really arrived?
I certainly felt I earned it. I had been a reporter, both in print and in television, and yeah, that was clearly the next peg up. I mean, there are other avenues to go beyond that, up and out, but that was a step up.
Up and out. Marcia, you're laughing. What makes that funny to you?
Well, I'm happy to see you here in your second day, Corbin.
That's it. You know, I'm telling you, I'm sitting back there listening to these women talk, and you do realize how quick this business can put you here and then put you out the door. What did you think about when you started anchoring? You had been in the news business for a lot of years.
I had been, and I hate to count them. I was in 17 altogether, about 13 at Hubbard, and then 4 years at CCO. I had wanted to be an anchor, I think, just because that seemed, as Cindy said, a logical next step after being a reporter for so many years. I found out, though, as an anchor, and I never made it to Cindy's stature. Cindy, I would have taken the paycheck.
Or took the big drop
but
down.
Or took the big drop down, too, yeah. But I wanted to see what it was like, and to tell you the truth, I preferred reporting. It was real important to me to stay on the street. I think anchoring is wonderful in terms of the perception that the public has that you have arrived, even though it's the top rung and somebody's ready to push you off.
It's highly visible.
It's highly visible, and that seemed like a fun thing to be. Doing it is a lot less fun than thinking about it.
I noticed Deborah was nodding when you said you liked reporting. You did too?
You bet, you bet. I enjoyed getting out and meeting a lot of different people, experiencing the news as it happened. And that's one of the things I miss now outside of the business, is that I go home and I watch the news, I pick it up and I read it in the morning paper, I listen to it on the radio, listen to Cindy, but I don't experience the news, and I miss being out in the trenches.
The excitement of that, because there's no job like it.
Yeah,
there must be no job like it.
question.
There's a real hook to that.
You're a dilettante at anything you want. You got a license to snoop, which is
great. Oh, yeah.
Really,
They have to let you in the door, or almost anyway.
You have a you can learn a lot. It's continuing education, kind of. You know, you're always learning something new, and even if you're only focused on it for one day, you become an expert in whatever you're doing. I always joke because I've done lots of environmental stories, and I mean, I know about wastewater treatment plants,
and I know about political parties and infighting. I was a political junkie. I still am a political junkie. It's the access, Corbin, I think, that you get to a lot of people that other people would be dying to meet. I've interviewed 3 presidents and several vice presidents, and can honestly say that I knew Hubert Humphrey, and
there's just not very many jobs around that let you do that.
No,
I mean that's
there is
what
also
keeps you in
a
the
similarity between print and broadcast in that area, because print journalists also enjoy that same privilege, if you will, and responsibilities, and also a certain amount of the personality and ego trip attached.
But
to
let's set something straight. It isn't all glamorous, and it isn't all exciting. A lot of it is sitting around and waiting for phone calls. A lot of it is endless boredom. A lot of it is stories that are either dangerous or that you don't have any interest in, where you feel out of your element. I have ridden an elephant as part of a story. I have been in a cage full of lions as part of a story.
Sometimes it's at 3 in the morning. You have to be there where the news is and when it's happening.
And my picture of Debbie, my last picture of Debbie, is wading waist deep in water out on Highway 12.
With lightning in the background.
You talk about glamour, Debbie. You have really had the glamorous end.
I used to cover a lot of farm stories, and I'd go out to farms in jeans and old
You
loafers,
like that.
and you come back smelling like a pig pen, but it was a lot of fun.
Tell me, Deborah, why did you leave the news? What was the transition for you? Because you're not in television anymore.
No. I work as the manager of communications at the Minnesota Education Association.
Boy, that's a long title.
It is.
What does the manager of communications do there?
Well, I'm responsible for the internal and external communications from our organization, which basically is a professional association representing most of the teachers in the state of Minnesota. And I have a staff of 7 wonderful people, and so it's a nice transition out of the business. I'd been in the business about 14 and a half, 15 years, and I was just getting tired of it, and it ceased to be a challenge. I would come into work, and there were things that I was not entirely happy about, and I'd start complaining, and I started taking stock of everything and saying, you know, I could come in every day and be very unhappy, or I could do something about it. And
so maybe this is the moment for me to leave and look for something else. I think a lot of people find that in their jobs. When you're beginning to feel a lot of dissatisfaction, that's a little red flag going up. What about you, Marcia? Why did you leave?
I left because I'd gone about as far as I could and was at a place where I couldn't have been more happy with the program I was doing. The last 2 years of my life in television was spent doing Newsday at Channel 4 with Dave Nimmer. And it's, I think, the last show of its kind probably in the country.
Oh, yeah, that was
a local public affairs show. Somebody called it a cross between Sunday Morning and Saturday Night Live. And I think there's a lot of truth to that.
There's a lot of gray area in there, isn't there?
But, you know, I started looking at it, and when it came to contract time, and I negotiated a 3-year contract, the question came up, well, what if Newsday, by any chance, is canceled? As though it would never happen. And
Right.
I had a termination clause written into the contract, that when the show went, I went. And that way I got to choose the way I wanted to leave. And I think that's very important.
Which has a lot to
those of
do
us
with
in-
how you feel about the whole situation.
Exactly.
You know, coming back, I would like to put that question to you, Cindy, about why you left television. And we also have some questions in our audience, so we're going to give everybody out there a chance to get in on this, too. We'll be back right after this.
If you or someone you love has been seriously injured in a car or motorcycle accident, the results can be devastating. At times like these, you need an attorney. Call the Injury Helpline. Talk to an attorney near you for free, one who will explain your legal rights and costs. There are no attorney fees unless you receive payment for your injuries. The insurance companies have attorneys working hard on their side, and so should you. Call 1-800-533-2700.
So, your wife wanted new furniture, but you said no. You better do something. Call Home Furniture Rental. Home Furniture Rental has the Twin Cities' largest selection of rental furniture, color TVs, and stereos. Right now, Home Furniture Rental has this beautiful living room set for just $59 per month. Or enjoy this dining room set for just $29. Call now. Home Furniture Rental. Lake Street, Minneapolis, University Avenue, St. Paul.
I chose a career in the medical field because I like working with people and I feel good about being part of a team.
My husband's job requires us to move a lot. With my training as a medical assistant, I know I'll have a job wherever we go.
I trained as a medical assistant because I wanted a professional career that pays good money, and I wanted it fast.
Find out how you can train for a career in the medical field. For a brochure, call 612-341-3850. That's 612-341-3850. Call now.
Back, and I'd like to reacquaint you with our guests quickly. I'm with Cindy Bricado, Marcia Fleur, and Deborah Ely, all of which I know, if you've lived in the Twin Cities any amount of time whatsoever, you recognize these women. We were just talking about their transitions from television into other things. And Marcia, what are you doing right now?
I'm Director of University Relations at the University of Minnesota. I have a terrific...
Another big title.
A terrific staff. Hi, staff. I know they're watching.
Oh, they're not watching. They're all taking a long break today because you're here. You're not in the office.
I gave them an order. They're watching.
And what do you do there particularly?
Well, we have news service and publications, and like Debbie, we deal with internal and external communications and publications, and trying to be an advocate for the university, which is very easy when it's something that you believe in very deeply.
Do you miss TV?
Not for a moment.
You're back in the real world and you like it?
It's real life.
Yeah.
TV is real life also, but what I'm doing now is real life.
Mm-hmm. I think it's great. All right, Cindy, you're up. Tell me why you left. Tell me what you're doing.
Well, I'm doing radio, and a lot of what happened, I've learned is because of my family. I mean, they were kind of conscious in semi-conscious decisions.
You mean awake versus asleep, or what do you mean?
For example, and I think this is probably a really the most telling anecdote, when I was doing some freelancing for Channel 11 doing assignments here, the then news director, Tom Kirby, said, you know, take your tape. He said, Cindy, you can now go anywhere in the country and get a job. And he probably was right, but I was also at that time pregnant with my second child. And I stayed here because I wanted to stay, because of my family. Because I thought, no, you know, I can't uproot these kids and take them to, you know, Boston. I don't want to end up in Detroit.
Because you already had another small child.
Yes,
Your other
my
child
daughter is
small.
8. My son is 19 months now. That is not what I wanted to do. And to stay alive as a TV anchor, generally, and especially for a woman, means constant relocation. 2 years here, 3 years there. Well, there's no question that puts a tremendous stress on your family. My husband was reluctant to move. I wanted to stay here. I wanted to have the baby. I wanted to, you know, I wanted to be a mother more than I wanted to be a broadcaster.
It was splattered all over the papers everywhere, so I think a lot of us, what is in our mind is you and KSTP. Did you feel like you got a fair shake over there?
Oh, I probably didn't have as bad a treatment as newspaper reports would indicate. I think, if nothing else, history has vindicated me. You know, I mean, they didn't.
That must feel good.
Yeah, well, yeah, it does.
It must feel good because you can't fight back. It's hard to fight back.
You can't do that. I mean, and that's true, and Stanley and I have remained friends, and no, there isn't any great animosity. There were no lawsuits. There were no threats of lawsuits. That just personally is not the way I operate. I just kind of wanted to get on with my job, and I do like newscasting.
So you've stayed in newscasting. You're working in radio now.
I do Morning Drive for KLXK Radio with my co-host, Jeff Collins. It's fun. It is fun. That's what you have to do. Broadcasting has to be a fun job because there's a lot of pains and pressures involved with it. So if you're not having fun, by all means, get out. You know, and so and mine is fun. And
Do any of you have any most embarrassing moments that pop into your mind? Does something just like jump out? Deborah's nodding.
It didn't take me long to think of it.
Yeah.
When I was doing the noon report at CCO, I was co-anchoring the show with Bill Carlson. One day Bill was away, and it was Bud Kraling doing the weather and myself. I happened to get one of those uncontrollable coughs, and to the point that I couldn't get anything out of my mouth. I slid the copy over to Bud and said, "You're going to have to finish this."
Just kind of pointed like, you're on.
And Bud looked at the copy and looked at the camera and looked at the copy and said, "I don't have my glasses." And the director stayed on this a little longer and finally faded to black. I got a glass of water in the break.
Just a complete blank moment. You know, I do want to get back to more embarrassing moments, but I did promise the audience could get in. Colleen's out there with an audience member who has a question. Hi.
Hi, do you have a question for us?
Hi, yeah, I was wondering, I guess this is for all three of you. Did you always, when you were growing up, did you always know you wanted to get into broadcasting, or is this something you just decided later on?
TV wasn't invented when I was growing up. So you can't know you want to be, I want to be in vaudeville. No, actually, I wanted to be a performer, and turning out to be a reporter was kind of backed into it and by accident. But it was perfect for me. I just didn't know it.
I would love to know for you guys what it takes, what do you think it takes to be at the top of your game? It's so incredibly competitive. What does it take in a woman to be able to make it to the top?
Luck. Yeah, right place, right time. I bet that's 50% of it.
I think a strong personality, too. I think you have to be the kind of person who will listen to criticism and take it, but not dwell on it. You don't let it consume you.
A strong sense of yourself. And who you are and what it will take to be you. I think you can be eaten up by ambition and be a very unhappy person, or you can just sort of take it as it comes.
Can we squeeze in one last embarrassing moment? We just have about 30 seconds.
Yes. On Newsday, we had a segment, and we had animals on, and someone handed me a turtle one time when we were talking about turtles during turtle season, and it wee-weed on my hand.
And you're sitting there on the air like, what do I do with this now?
Well, I didn't want the audience to know, but I went, and I think they knew.
They could figure it out, put two and two together. It has been a pleasure. Thank all of you for coming today. This could have gone on forever as far as I was concerned. I really, really enjoyed talking with you. Colleen?
Coming up next, we have a restaurant jewel for you that's a real hidden treasure. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Hello, Maria. I'd love to see you. Meet me up at Taco Bell, oh please Maria. You love those tacos for just 59. Burritos and tostados, oh me, oh my. Let's get a sack full, get them to go, and watch the sunset like we did so long ago. Let's make a run, 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 run for the border.
It's 3 a.m. and you can't sleep.
I toss and turn, punch pillows, count sheep, disturb my wife, and I do this every night. What's wrong with me?
Read the A to Z Guide to Better Sleep. It's a free booklet from the nonprofit Better Sleep Council of America. The A to Z Guide to Better Sleep. It's packed with 20 pages of information on how to get a good night's sleep. Call toll-free, and the Craftmatic Adjustable Bed Company will mail this helpful guide to you free.
This booklet is great. Thanks, Craftmatic.
To get your free sleep guide by return mail, plus full details about Craftmatic adjustable beds, call toll-free. To enjoy sweet dreams, call now. There's absolutely no obligation.
Call 1-800-247-7776. That's 1-800-247-7776. Toll free. Call 1-800-247-7776.
As a home builder, I know the importance of trees to the environment. As a forester, I know the value of trees in an urban or rural setting.
I like trees too because they do so much for us.
Help us preserve our forests by volunteering to plant seedlings April 21st and 22nd at area parks. Volunteers are still needed for Ramsey County. Call 777-0393 for more information. Sponsored by the Twin Cities Housing Council, Hennepin and Ramsey Parks, and KARE 11.
Have a favorite little tiny restaurant near your home? Do you have one where you go and you just love to be there, and not many people know about it, but the food is always great, the ambiance, whatever? What we are going to do on Between Friends is discover hidden treasures for you where restaurants are concerned. We want to find some out-of-the-way places, some places that you might like to go and try out. Today, we're trying one that is very unusual. The food is fabulous. The prices are right. It's great.
That's right. It is called Harry Singh's Caribbean Restaurant, and we took our Between Friends camera to their particular restaurant, and we're going to show you a little bit of footage on that right now, and then when we come back, we're going to taste some things. Too bad you're not here with us. At this corner of the so-called wedge, used car lots and second-hand furniture stores are being replaced by funky shops and new wave entrepreneurs. Restaurants are a big part of this changing look. At the Lynn Lake Cafe, you can get the old reliable meat and potatoes. At the Blue Nile, the exotic taste of Ethiopia. At Milano's and Mandy's, delightful Mediterranean cuisine. Across the street from yet another ethnic eatery is Harry Singh's Caribbean Restaurant. It specializes in authentic food of the West Indies. When you enter the restaurant, you are greeted by soft calypso music and the warm smiles of Harry and his wife, Anne-Marie. However, it's the pungent aromas from the kitchen that magically transport you to the islands of Trinidad and Tobago. Harry Singh is a former business executive with a master's degree. He prepares his food from scratch. He has a no-shortcut approach which requires many extra hours of food preparation. All veggies are fresh, not frozen. He makes his sauces from fresh ingredients.
In our island, it basically is East Indian origin, and then you have the Creole cooking, which basically is the stews, combined with vegetables, which involves beans, broccoli, cauliflower, tomatoes, cabbage, peppers, and other spices.
If it's hot and spicy you like, you're in the right place.
We take time at least twice a year or more to get our spices. Our spices do come from Trinidad.
Roti dal puri is a featured dish at the Caribbean.
This dal puri consists of vegetables, which is prepared in curry with various spices and many vegetables, which is wrapped in the flatbread known as the roti dal puri.
All dishes are prepared mildly seasoned, unless you order them otherwise. The spicy sauces are served on the side.
Other choices on the menu include a variety of Creole rice dishes served with Caribbean-style stewed fish or shrimp, and a delicious spicy dish called brown down, chicken or beef. Lentils, dal split peas, and pigeon peas are available as authentic side dishes.
This is one of our favorite restaurants. We come here often.
It's just absolutely fresh, and so it's really fun, and it tastes just great.
For a cool contrast, try Anne-Marie's homemade ice cream for dessert. She flavors the ice cream with fresh fruit from the islands, like kiwi, mango, papaya, and coconut.
You know, I always say, a week without Harry's is like a week without sunshine.
Isn't that fun? There you see it, Harry's Caribbean Restaurant. Now, this is at the corner of Lyndale and Lake, and we have some of the dishes here. The part that I like that they emphasized, everything is fresh. Go ahead, Colleen, just jump right in. Everything is fresh.
Oh, I would.
And this is the roti dal puri that we saw in the tape that is one of their favorite things. Since you seem to be going after that, how is it? What's it like?
It's out of this world.
Is it real spicy?
With curry in it, it's wonderful.
Now, you know what else? This is chicken, and I don't know the name for this.
It's so tender.
It falls off the bone. It's really, really mild, though, considering usually when I think of curry, I think of, you know, too hot. But you see that the portions are enormous. Now, I want to tell you, for lunch, you can get by with spending only $3.50, and you get these huge portions.
Huge.
For dinner, $4.95 to $14.95, and the official address is 611 West Lake Street in Minneapolis. There you see it on your screen. This is quite the place. And Harry and Anne-Marie, the owners, are such nice people that I love giving my business to such a nice, warm couple. So go in and warm up your tummy and warm up your heart at Harry Sings.
If you have a favorite restaurant in your neighborhood, in your area, send us the name and the address. We'll go check it out, perhaps highlight it on our Restaurant Gems segment. Send it to Between Friends, Post Office Box 111, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 55440. And this is great. This is fun. Now, when we come back, we're going to have our Check It Out lady, Judy Nelson, here, and she's going to give us some helpful hints on how to pick out and install a car seat. Is that fish?
This is fish.
Oh,
boy, is this delicious. Really mild.
For sure.
KARE 11 Bike Classic is just a really good way to meet a lot of really fun people.
Everybody can do it. It's not a race, and it's just a ride, and you can take your time. You get in shape, you help a great cause, and you have a lot of fun doing it.
Ride in the all-new KARE 11 Bike Classic to St. Cloud and back. Support the family of Health One hospitals and have a great time, too. Pick up your KARE 11 Bike Classic brochure at any Tom Thumb store. Do it right now. Special thanks to Northwest Airlines and Target stores for their generous support.
Hi, I'm Jerry Boschwitz with big news about the annual spring sale at Plywood, Minnesota. Here in our kitchen department, you'll find springtime savings on kitchens from Marilat, America's largest cabinet manufacturer. Plywood, Minnesota's experienced designers will custom fit any kitchen. And right now, you'll save up to 60% on quality Marilat cabinets. Lots of styles in stock for the spring sale. Save 10 to 60% on all in-stock wallpaper and wallpaper book selections in our wallpaper department. Don't miss the annual spring sale at the showrooms of Plywood, Minnesota.
Don't miss Health Fair 11. This year you can visit over 100 sites for free screenings for height, weight, vision, blood pressure. Plus, for the first time ever, there's an optional test that can give you breakdowns on both good and bad cholesterol.
So take charge of your health at Health Fair 11 now through April 14th.
For more information, call a connection at 922-9000.
Sponsored by the Health One family of hospitals, including United Hospital and St. Croix Valley Memorial Hospital.
Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation, the 1990 World Tour. MTV presents Thursday, April 5th and Friday, April 6th at the Met Center. Janet Jackson takes the stage for the first time ever. Janet Jackson live. Good seats have just been released from production. Don't wait. Get them now at the Met Center box office and all Ticketmaster outlets. Charge at $989-5151.
That's the end?
No. Janet. A Playtime Alan Hammond production.
Well, from From time to time on Between Friends, our Check It Out friend, Judy Nelson, is going to join us. And Judy goes out in the Twin Cities and comes up with useful, helpful ideas on things to make your life easier and safer. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us today.
Thanks.
Today we're going to talk about car seats for our babies and children.
And how to make them work better for you. Yeah. Baby Timmy offered to come as a model to demonstrate. Fortunately, he's already had chicken pox, so we don't have that to worry about today.
Well, he looks like he has calamine in his hair.
Well, you know, this came out of the toy box. And having a baby Timmy is something kind of important when you go out to look for a car seat.
You mean you take a doll with you?
Absolutely.
Or your baby?
You should either take your child or take a doll. One of the reasons that we're talking about car seats, because car accidents are so fatal to so many children, and so many kids die in car accidents every year, and a lot of people are using car seats, but as many as half aren't using them properly. And so it's very important that people understand exactly how to use them. Now, one of the problems that people sometimes have is that they don't anchor the car seat properly. And that means to connect it to the seat belts in the car.
We aren't doing that right.
Sometimes people don't.
Okay.
And also you have to connect the child. I don't know if we can get a shot of this, but we'll turn it around for you a little bit. You have to connect the child. There you go. Here, can you see that? Okay. Connect the child in the, there's Timmy, connect the child in the harness.
Okay.
And you have to buckle it in. It has to fit snugly. And you have to do this every single time you put the child in the car seat. It has to be buckled in there properly.
Sometimes it's tricky when they're newborn.
It
My
is.
question to you, Judy, is there's so many different kinds of car seats when you get in there. This one has the two straps coming down. Is there the best kind to pick when you go out and buy one?
Yes. The best single car seat is the one you'll use every single time. They are all, anything that's sold in a car, in the store as a car seat for cars, has already been federally approved. So the key is you take the child or a doll with you, you look at the instructions, any instructions that are easy for you to understand, that's the one you buy.
So if they're complicated and have, you know, straps all over, that's not necessarily better. Go with something that's simple because
simple and easy.
They are all FCC registered.
It's also important for it to fit into your car. So if you buy a car seat and the store has a return policy, that's important, because if you get it outside and it doesn't fit in the car, then you need to take it back.
Great.
Yeah, so that's really important.
What if somebody, now how much are car seats? They're a little expensive, aren't they?
They range anywhere from, say, $25, $30 up. They can get kind of expensive. It's something that you can use for several years, because in Minnesota the law is that children 4 and under are required to sit in an approved car seat.
Didn't you tell me that if somebody can't afford a car seat, there's a place you can get one to borrow?
Yes, the Minnesota Passenger Protection program has a loaner program. In fact, they can tell you about 100 loaner programs all over the state of Minnesota, where anyone who for any reason can't buy a car seat, on the numbers on the screen, you can call 224-5121, or in the greater Minnesota area, 1-800-BE-BELTED. And they will tell you where you can borrow a car seat all over the state of Minnesota for any reason. Not only if you can't afford it, but say you have company coming from out of town and they flew.
Oh, good point.
Because the law requires, regardless if it's your child or your car, you're still required to put that child in a car seat. So if you have company coming for, say, a week and they don't have a car seat, then you can go borrow one. And in fact, that's where we got this one. We borrowed it from the Minnesota Passenger Protection people.
That's good. I hope you took down those numbers, because it's really nice to know there is a place in case you or somebody in your life doesn't have the means. There you have it. You can borrow one.
Car seats can prevent up to 71% of the fatalities for children. So that's one of the reasons it's so very important.
It's essential.
Use it every single time, and also it's very important, they say, to be a good role model.
And wear your seatbelt.
Yeah, because you never know when that accident's going to happen, and you want the child to be protected and the parent as well. So buckle up, and then the child will have that as a role model.
Talking about buckling up, now you have just a set of seat belts here. A lot of us, or a lot of people who own older cars, they don't have seat belts to buckle yourself up.
Well, a lot of the older model cars don't have shoulder belts in the back seat. Most of them have lap belts, and there's been some controversy about lap belts. And the other thing that the passenger protection people stress is that you have to wear the seat belt properly, low across the hips. You can't wear it up across your stomach.
So down across.
Low across your hips. And you can buy a kit like this. They will tell you this is a kit that you can buy through the dealers all over the state.
Oh, interesting.
In fact, the passenger protection people will tell you how much they cost. They're anywhere from $30 a pair on up, plus the installation charge. And you can have a shoulder belt put in your back seat of your car.
And how much is that?
Well, it varies. They get kind of expensive. The minimum is about $30, but it depends. If you have a fancier car, it might anywhere from up to $150 or so, plus the installation. But you can get a pair of shoulder belts and have it put in, say you have a 1975 car and they don't have shoulder belts, so
Right.
you can
That's
have those
great to know.
installed too.
Now,
and they'll
one
tell
more
you
thing
where.
I wanted to ask you about, getting back, you can have somebody help you install these if you need to. What about if you, as you mentioned to us, a lot of us sometimes goof it up and we don't get our car seats in right. Is there somebody we can call to
Yes.
tell us if our car seat is okay and check?
Yes, in fact, the passenger protection people, again, they not only will tell you where you can borrow a car seat, but they will help you figure out how to use it in your car. And
They'll
if
come
need
over?
be, they will make a home visit for free to your home if they need to help you make sure that you're using it correctly. Because another one of the things besides the seat belts that I didn't mention is that smaller babies need to face the rear, under 20 pounds, and bigger need to face the front. And they're adjustable, and it might sound a little complicated, but they can make it so simple and so easy and so safe that everybody will do it every single time.
Well, thanks.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for all the good advice. Next week, you'll check something else out for us?
Yes, we're checking out hot happy birthday tips for our little kids.
Oh, I love that idea.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Great. And also, we did want to mention that Pat Miles is going to be coming up with us next with What's in the News Today. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back after this.
Now, stay tuned for the Tarnex million-dollar treasure hunt. While rummaging through her grandmother's attic, Ruth found what she thought was a box of worthless flatware. Before she got rid of them, she decided to see if she could clean them with Tarnex. And within seconds, Tarnex uncovered a sterling silver surface for 12.
You never really know what you have until you've cleaned it with Tarnex.
Betty always takes along a bottle of Tarnex whenever she goes antique shopping. An old rusty-looking piece marked $2 turned into a valuable candy dish when she wiped away the tarnish.
You never know what you have until you've cleaned it with Tarnex.
Jack struck it rich cleaning his basement when Tarnex turned an old piece of metal into a beautifully etched serving tray.
You never know what you have until you've cleaned it with Tarnex.
Sally hit the jackpot at the flea market when she discovered a set of 18th century copper cookware under years of tarnish.
You never know what you have until you've cleaned it with Tarnex.
And your home may be filled with treasures, too. In every attic, in every basement, there are interesting and valuable treasures you may have forgotten. So get Tarnex. It's guaranteed to instantly find the original silver, gold, brass, or copper under the tarnish, or return it to place of purchase for your money back.
Find the treasures that may be hidden in your home with Tarnex. Tarnex is available at Walgreen, Ace, Hardware Hank, Osco, True Value, Thrifty White, Drug Emporium stores, Woolworth, Snyder Brothers, Shopko, Century Hardware, and Snyder Drug.
We decided to have her come on over and tell us what's going on. We had
one of the anchors away, huh?
Yeah, no, get out of here. Oh, your old colleagues, though.
All of them, all of them. That was fun to see Debbie and Marcia and Cindy.
It was.
You know what's interesting is that when I looked at the three of them, I thought, you know, I have worked with every single one of those women, which is really amazing. And I think it says something about the market in the Twin Cities that people want to stay here, and they go on to other things, even if they leave broadcasting.
Is it hard moving from one group, one network to another? I mean, you did that. You can.
People are nice everywhere, and the job is basically the same. I think what's hard is that, you know, it's a different system in a different place, and so you have to, you know, you make new friends and move on. But it's fun. It's great. Change is good. I'm all for change. I think it's great for people.
Sure.
It's
and
a
I
new
guess, like you say, it goes with the territory.
That's right.
Yeah.
I understand you have the chicken pox at your house.
Can you believe it? 3
Yes,
o'clock this morning. I was telling the folks earlier, 3 o'clock this morning, Tommy comes in scratching dots everywhere.
Well,
and
in
you
a way,
had that at your house.
we had it, and
your daughter.
This new story that's coming up this afternoon is just in time for you, but too late for me. They have come out apparently with a new, not a new drug, but a drug that they believe now can treat the symptoms of chickenpox. It's called acyclovir, and basically, Colleen, what it does is, if you treat your child within the first 24 hours of the symptoms, it can reduce the number of spots, it can reduce the fever and the number of days of the fever, and it can also reduce just the general malaise of this kind of illness.
So it's safe. I mean, it's approved.
They have not found any side effects to using acyclovir for chickenpox.
It's familiar to me. I've heard of that before. I wonder if it's used to treat anything else.
They have used it to treat herpes.
Okay.
And Dr. Henry Balfour, who we're going to be talking to this afternoon at 5 o'clock, live at 5, will talk about this, because that's why he got involved in this research in the first place. He said, well, if we could treat this kind of virus, this is a virus in the same family with chickenpox, so let's try it with this. And so it was really interesting. And one of the nice things, especially for teens with acyclovir, is, you know, if you have chickenpox later as a teenager, it can leave scarring on your face. And one of the things this drug does is it prevents the severe scarring.
Great.
So it's terrific.
Great. Well, we'll watch for more news about that at 5
All right, and then just one other story I want to quick mention before we have to go. In St. Paul, Mayor Jim Shivel is in Phoenix, and one of the things he has vowed to do is hire women firefighters before his term is up in 1993. And he is in Phoenix, Arizona today talking to people, because they were one of the first departments to really press ahead, hire women, prove that they can do the job, get them involved, and it's been successful. So he is there interviewing people and talking to women firefighters. He's going to come back, he says, with a plan to hire women firefighters in St. Paul.
Because a lot of folks may not know that they didn't have firefighters.
I think it's, what, 475 member department and no women.
Well, thanks. And we'll be right back with some gardening tips after this. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Last year, drinking and driving claimed over 200 lives in Minnesota and seriously injured more than 7,000 people. But those statistics are hard to imagine until you become one of them.
I couldn't feel my legs. I knew I'd never walk again.
I couldn't talk, read, or write anymore.
Meet 5 people who didn't believe it could happen to them. Now they want to make sure this doesn't become your next set of wheels. A KARE 11 Family Matters special, Crash Course, Saturday at 6.
There's a motor party coming to St. Paul Civic Center. Minor Ford of New Brighton presents Mavericks and Monsters. All the stars are out. One night, Saturday, April 14th. Giant monster trucks in side-by-side racing, featuring the #1 Chevy Barefoot. Same night, wild Torcus and Outlaw coupes running wheel to wheel. Plus the Iceman and a death-defying motorcycle jump over a running helicopter. Plus high-flying mini sprints. Motorcycle and Outlaw quad racing. The ground's already shaking.
We'd like to introduce you to PB Max. Now that don't mean Pretty Boy Max, or Max's Performing Bear, or Maximilian's Purple Bandoleros. The PB means peanut butter. Real peanut butter. Lots of real peanut butter. In pure milk chocolate with the crunch of a whole grain cookie. Now that's maximum satisfaction. Even if you're as big as Paul Bunyan, you'll pat your belly.
Look for 6-packs of PB Max. We mean peanut butter.
There are so many diets available. You know, you can buy books, you can drink liquids, you can do all of those things, but none of those things give people what is most important, and that is that one-on-one support. The counselors are always cheering them on, giving them the encouragement that they need. It's been so easy for them, so natural, that they don't realize they've really gone through a program for weight loss.
Lose all the weight you want for a $195 service fee, or up to 20 pounds for a $99 service fee. Call The Connection.
If you're like me, you've been looking out those windows and you have been seeing some pretty bare flower beds and some pretty brown lawns. Well, our next guest is going to show us how to kind of get those going, because in Minnesota, we want spring and summer to happen faster than I think just about any other state in the country. Would you please help me in welcoming Dr. Ann Hanachek. Hi, Ann. Thanks for coming. Ann, by the way, is a horticulturist at the University of Minnesota. She works out at the Arboretum. I wanted to start with this because you know what? I am seeing in my yard a lot of the budding bushes, and this happens to be forsythia. Now, these are the buds that are closed. These have been forced open by you all at the Arboretum.
Right. We cut these branches a few days ago, brought them in, and the flowers have already opened. But this is what they would look like out in the yard right now.
And what should I do about this? Can I just leave these here, or should I trim them?
No, you should leave these, because inside the little green buds here are the flowers. And if you cut any of these or prune these shrubs now, you'll lose the flowers.
So no pruning.
No pruning.
Put the shears away
That's
when it comes to these beautiful kinds of things.
That's right.
Let's talk about lawns for a minute, because I've got so much I have to ask you. My husband was thrilled that you were going to be here today so that I could get all this
Your husband's a lawn fanatic?
He's the lawn guy. All right, he gets me and he says, come on, honey, we got to go rake.
Right.
And we go in the garage and we get the rakes and we get out there and we rake the grass like mad. Should we be doing that?
Only if the ground is not too soft, because if the ground is soft and wet, if we actually get any rain this year, that is, you could pull those lawn plants right out of the ground by raking. So you want to be sure that they're in there firmly and the ground is not too soft.
So
Otherwise, you should be raking.
So what does the raking do good for the lawn?
It aerates the lawn. It gets out the dead leaves and the little bits of dead branches that collect during the winter, opens up the grass so it can breathe, and helps it green up.
Okay, should I start watering after I rake?
Well, watch the weather. If there's less than an inch of rain a week, then you'll need to water. But that shouldn't be too much of a problem in early spring.
springtime.
It's when we get into summer that you're going to want to either start watering or just stop and let the lawn go dormant.
So hang on for a little
That's
while,
right.
probably with
That's
the water.
right.
If I had some bare patches and wanted to put some grass seed in, should I do that now, and do I need black dirt too?
Oh yes, do it right now, Corbin, because if you wait much longer, the window will be closed on grass seed, and you'll have to wait till
The window will be closed,
That's
Ann?
right. They won't germinate in the hot weather.
What's
so
my
we have to do it.
How long can I do it? In
mid-April.
the next couple of weeks, maybe?
Next couple weeks.
Okay.
And if you're putting in new seed like that, you'll want to put a little soil on top of it just to cover it barely.
Just to kind of keep
just
it
a little
there,
bit,
so
right.
the birds don't eat it, doesn't wash away, all that kind of thing. All right, what about my flower beds? Now, I've got flower beds that are looking pretty darn bare.
You didn't clean them last fall, huh?
Well, I have some perennials in there that are all kind of, you know, should I cut those off?
Yes, get out there now and cut off all those dead parts. And do it now before anything new starts to grow, and you could damage it if you cut later. So get all the old things out right now and clean out the
it
beds.
up a little bit.
That's right. and
Should
then
I be
enjoy it.
fertilizing my lawn or my flower beds right now?
No, no, you should not. There's nothing there yet in your flowers to really take up the fertilizer, so it would just wash out.
Don't like prepare the dirt
Right.
yet.
No,
It's too early.
It's too early. And in the lawn, you really don't need to spring fertilize. Spring is not the best time. You should fertilize in fall, and
Is
then
that
when
right?
spring comes around, the fertilizer will be there waiting and ready. If you fertilize now, you'll just have lots of growth, and you'll have to mow more often.
If I walk around my lawn and I see, is there anything I should be looking for? Will there be some signs if there are problems, or how can I find out if I've got any problems in my
Well, you
lawn?
might want to check for thatch. And you do
How do I
that
do
by
that?
cutting out a little wedge, a little pie-shaped wedge from your lawn, and
Okay.
look at it. And if you see a brown layer, and I think we have a picture, don't we?
Yeah, I believe we do.
If you
There it
see
is.
a brown layer between the grass and
Well, that's
the
a
soil,
quarter. Now, wait a minute. Okay, go ahead.
and that brown layer is a little bit more than a ½ inch, then you'll have to do something about the thatch. If it's less than a ½ inch, don't worry about it.
There's the brown layer. There's the quarter. If it's deeper than that quarter, pretty much,
Right, if it's
you've got
bigger.
a problem.
Right.
And what do we do about it?
Next fall or late in the summer, you'll want to rent a machine, a dethatcher,
Go
and
to a
take
garden
it out.
center.
That's right.
Okay, and thatch your lawn,
Dethatch the
and then
lawn.
we can save it.
That's right.
Otherwise, we're in
That's
trouble.
right.
You know, this is a lot of great information. I wish we had more time for this, because I know my husband's going to say there's something that you forgot to ask that he wanted to know. If you have some questions that we did not hit on today, you know you can get great information from your county extension agent. Now, the number is 625-2787, and they have endless amounts of patience and lots of answers for those of us who are novice
That's
gardeners.
right.
And also, we are going to be talking about next the health fair, which is the KARE 11 Health Fair. And there are some amazing stories about how it has saved some people's lives. So come back for that. Thank you very much, Ann, for being
Thank you
here.
for having me.
These are
Somewhere in all these dusty law books, a great idea got lost. The idea that law is for people, and people should be able to afford it. At Hyatt Legal Services, we took the fear out of legal fees. You can consult with one of our lawyers for just $20. And for cases like divorce, wills, accidents, and bankruptcy, we tell you our fee up front. I'm Joel Hyatt, and you have my word on it. We took the fear out of legal fees across the country and in your neighborhood.
This week, The Connection offers specials for Easter and upcoming proms. Call right now at 922-9000 for special deals on Easter outfits and prom dresses, prom clothing for rent, alterations, portraits, makeup and nails, corsages, boutonnieres, floral arrangements, balloon bouquets, and visits from the Easter Bunny. Plus, for a special meal out, ask about the fabulous Easter brunches. Call 922-9000 now for Easter and prom specials. Remember, the call is free, and our operators can directly connect you to the business you need.
Get a Sony 20-inch remote-control color TV or Sony VCR when you buy any classic model Contour chair. Just as Sony means quality in home electronics, Contour means quality in lounge chairs. Classic model Contour chairs are incredibly relaxing. Feature this special orthopedically correct shape, automatic power slide, and built-in heat and massage. To get all the exciting facts about Contour, call toll-free, and I'll mail you this free Contour chair catalog and this certificate for your choice of a Sony color TV or VCR with the purchase of a classic model Contour. Don't delay. Call me, Art Linkletter, right now.
Call 1-800-228-8400. That's 1-800-228-8400. Toll free. Call 1-800-228-8400.
Well, Family Health Fair 11 is going on right now. Some of you have visited the site in your area. Many of you have not, and we encourage you to try it out because, as a matter of fact, in a moment you're going to meet some people who went to the health fair last year and actually found out that they had some drastic medical things that need to be looked into. And we'll introduce you to those people in just a minute. But first of all, I'd like to give you a look at what the health fair is all about. We have a piece of videotape that's going to give you a little bit more information, so take a look. See, here's a health fair right here, and you go over. These people are wonderful and friendly, and you get measured and weighed if you'd like to. I don't know if I want to get weighed, but you can be measured. They will do your blood pressure. They will check your lungs for you. They will check you for cholesterol. Whatever you would like to have done, it's easy. It's very affordable. I think it's like $7 to have your total cholesterol checked, which is so inexpensive. So it's a great idea. It's something that a lot of us put off doing. Again, there are 103 locations throughout the Twin Cities. We will give you a phone number in a little while. Actually, the connection can tell you where the site nearest you is located, and you can just go on over there and find out. Now, we're going to be introducing you. First of all, I'd like you to meet Sandy Gustafson and Howard Hodel, who are here with us today. You both have separate stories to tell us. And Sandy, I'd love to start with you. Now, you were telling me that you were just a site coordinator for the health fair, a volunteer.
Yeah, I am a site coordinator where I work at Northridge.
Okay.
And I have been a coordinator there for TV11 Health Fair for about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Last year I decided to have my cholesterol done.
Just for the heck of it?
Just because I was site coordinator, I should do it. I'm encouraging everybody to have this done.
Sure.
And so I did have mine done, and to my surprise, I had a cholesterol of 250, which they told me is in the risk area.
200 is kind of the number you want to stay under, right?
Right.
So 250, so then what, you decided obviously to go to your doctor?
I did. And at the same time, she discovered that I had an irregular heartbeat. So I had EKGs, echocardiograms, I was on a heart monitor. I have had heart medication.
You're kidding.
Now I am off medication. I am on a low cholesterol diet, and I just continue that, and I'm hoping Thursday is our health fair at Northridge, and I'm going to have my cholesterol done, and I'm hoping it's going to be under 200.
How about that? I bet that was startling for you. How did you feel when you learned out not just the cholesterol, but then the heart?
Frightening.
Yes.
Very frightening. And I realized it was serious business.
What would have happened had that gone undetected, had you not had all the thing with your heart and your cholesterol and everything checked? Do you have any idea?
Well, I imagine the longer that I would let it go, the more damage and serious problem it would be for me.
Mm-hmm. So did you have to change your diet drastically? I mean, up until then, did you find, were you basically though, you as a person, were your eating habits really bad, or?
I didn't think so. I thought I was eating really a good diet, and I had all sorts of things in my diet that I shouldn't have, all high-fat content. I was just eating all the red meat I wanted to, and everything that adds to a high cholesterol, thinking I was eating healthy. I was eating good, too good.
Yeah.
And so my diet changed overnight.
The American way of eating.
No kidding. Now, Howard, your story is a little bit different. It's a little bit more severe. Tell us what happened. You went to the health fair last year.
When I took the carbon monoxide test, it tested 62. So
what does that mean?
Well,
I mean, what's
pretty
normal?
high.
What's normal?
Well, the highest they'd ever had was 20.
And you tested 62?
Right. So she asked me
This
how
is
many,
when they were checking your lungs.
yeah, how many packs of cigarettes I smoked in a day, and I said none.
You don't smoke?
No. So she took it twice more, and it was still 62. So she said she took my name and number and said she would talk to the doctor when she went back to the hospital. So a short while later, she called and said the doctor said, call the gas company emergency immediately and then get over to the hospital emergency as soon as you can.
So call the gas company to go check out where you live.
Right. So I walked over to the hospital, and they gave me a few tests and put me under oxygen for a while, and then they had this thing in my arm, and finally they got it down to 15. So in the meantime, the gas company had come out and shut off the furnace and put a red tag on and said, don't use this until you get things fixed.
Okay, so they found out there was obviously something drastically wrong with your
Right.
furnace then.
So then we had to get out the heater and turn on the oven for a few days until we got the chimney.
To heat your house, you had your oven on.
Right.
What did they find out was the problem?
Yeah.
Well, we'd had the chimney rebuilt a couple years ago, and the workmen dropped bricks down in there, and gradually the soot built up until the furnace.
Over a 2-year period.
Right.
Isn't that, and you never noticed it in the house at all, though?
No, well, I thought the curtains got dirty so fast, but I thought, well, maybe this is just winter.
Maybe that's a problem in my house. Maybe that's why there's dust on everything. I got to check this out.
And then I used to wake up every morning. I had this pain in my chest, and when I go to the office, I had to walk up one flight of stairs, and I could hardly make it to the top. And
I bet you thought it was heart trouble or something.
Well, I thought, boy, I'm getting old all of a sudden, like. So,
yeah. How about family? Now, were your wife or children, was anybody else living in the house
my daughter
with you?
lived with me, and she was pretty sick. And when I explained it at the hospital, they said she had symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning. And they told me that if I hadn't discovered this, so I either wouldn't have waken up one morning or I would have had a heart attack.
You're kidding.
So,
Oh, gosh, what a life-saving device that was for you, having that test.
And did by accident, did you come across a health fair? I mean, how did you even decide to do it that day?
I worked near their Pillsbury Center, and I was walking through, and I thought, I'll stop and try this. So when I got to the carbon monoxide line.
So do you both plan on going back this year then?
Oh, yes.
You mentioned you did, do you?
Yes. Thursday is our health fair at Northridge,
Okay.
and I'm going to have my cholesterol taken.
Good for you both. Well, it is inspiring for a lot of us who put that off. And if you would like to check out the site in your area, please call the Connection. The number there is 922-9000, and they will be happy to assist you in finding the place that's closest to you. And as we mentioned, it's one of those things we all procrastinate and say, one of these days I'm going to do it. But why not just make the decision to go ahead? It could save your life or one of your loved ones' lives. Listen, thank you both very much for sharing those stories. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I guess that's just about it for us today.
That is, that's a very positive note to end the show on, though, because
and it makes me want to get over there and do it.
Take your family as well. Coming up tomorrow.
Coming up tomorrow, we have a day of romance. It's April Love is what we're celebrating, and we're going to meet some single bachelors, very handsome group of guys who are going to tell us what they're looking for in romance.
And once you have found that special guy, we're going to give you some tips on how to fall in love in a smart sort of way. How to be smart legally and technically so that you don't get yourself tangled up into something more than just an affair of the heart. Yeah.
Sounds like good advice. Also, we did want to remind you that if you'd like to come and visit us here in our studio audience, the number for tickets is 593-9211, and you can call us. And please remember that we do offer licensed daycare through Club Kid. For the moms out there, you're welcome to take advantage of that. And it should be great fun tomorrow. We're looking forward to this.
It will. Once you have fallen in love and you decide to get married, we're carrying this a little far. Anyway, there is a terrific little romantic getaway that is in the Twin Cities. Maybe if you're already married. My anniversary's coming up. I probably ought to go there.
There you go.
It's right in the Minneapolis city limits. Believe it or not, bed and breakfast that you don't have to leave town to enjoy. So that's on tomorrow's show as well.
Oh, that'll be fun. Some fun romance. We have to do that. See, we have to go to the health fair. We have to make time out for romance. We have to get
all of those.
Get our gardens in shape for spring. All these things we have to do, and we're out of time, doggone it.
I know. We'll see you all tomorrow. Please join us.
Licensed childcare for our audience provided by Club Kid, an hourly childcare adventure. 3 locations in Roseville, Edina, and Minnetonka. Colleen and Corbin's wardrobe provided by FYI at Dayton's. Set decoration and furnishings provided by Durr Limited in Edina.
On the next Cosby Show.
I hear you're gonna fix a tire.
That's right.
You're looking mighty cute in that tool belt.
Got one in suede, too.
Cliff's armed.
Look out.
And dangerous.
We gotta stop him. He could tear this whole house down.
Maybe Dad can do the job. We better stop him.
But Cliff decides to stick with it on The Cosby Show.
Tuesday at 4:30 on KARE 11.
I chose a career in the medical field because I like working with people and I feel good about being part of a team.
My husband's job requires us to move a lot. With my training as a medical assistant, I know I'll have a job wherever we go.
I trained as a medical assistant because I wanted a professional career that pays good money, and I wanted it fast.
Find out how you can train for a career in the medical field. For a brochure, call 612-341-3850. That's 612-341-3850. Call now.
If you've been seriously injured in an accident, the law limits the time you have to take legal action. Now, if you delay, you could lose your right to receive payment for your injuries. Call the Injury Helpline. Talk to an attorney near you for free, one who will explain your legal rights and costs. There are no attorney fees unless you receive payment for your injuries. Time may be running out. The insurance companies have attorneys working hard on their side, and so should you. Call 1-800-533-2700.
Van Gogh, Monet, Impressionism at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts. Call 870-3057.
Can we take a break?
Are you tired already?
It's been an hour. You don't have to prove to me that Manhattan is an island. I believe you.
Hey, look, Allie, $1 each. You can get French, Italian, every kind of cookbook for less than $10.
That's terrible.
Well, I just meant that maybe there was some little obscure recipe that you didn't know about. Chicken della Torre, liver and peppers, who knows?
That's not what I meant. And what is chicken della Torre?
See, you don't know every recipe. What's so terrible, then?
What's so terrible is that somebody would write a book about anything and they'd sell it for only $1. And there is no such thing as chicken della Torre, is there? I mean, you just made that name up for the sake of an argument. If you're going to use something for the sake of an argument, you might as well use something that exists. It makes your argument stronger.
Is that so?
Yes, according to Argument and Counter-Argument. It's a book I bought for $1 on the corner of 73rd and Amsterdam.
You're kidding.
No, oh, no, and there's a great book you've got to get. Guide to Corner Bookstalls. I got it on the corner of Madison and 59.
If you don't want to buy a cookbook, don't buy a cookbook.
Coming up on Entertainment Tonight, get the inside story as we go on the road with Cher. She's sexy, controversial, and definitely uninhibited.
Like strange things happening in this show, but I think you're going to like it.
Oh, you've seen her hit movies and music videos. Now, get ready to see a totally different side of Cher.
It certainly is my obligation to give them the best show that I can give them.
It's an inside story on the national tour that's full of surprises on Entertainment Tonight.
Tuesday at 6:30 on KARE 11.
No one could love our kids more than we do. We want to nurture them and nourish them forever. And giving them new Mr. Turkey skinless turkey breast can help. It's one of the leanest cuts of turkey there is. Mr. Turkey tastes so good you'll start a healthy habit they'll hold on to for a lifetime. That way, when you're not holding them, they'll still be holding on to something good. Mr. Turkey.
Treat yourself like you should. Treat yourself oh so good with chocolate kudos granola snack. There's pleasure so big and light. You'll love the whole grain crunch and nuts in every bite. Kudos make chocolate be everything it should. So treat yourself oh so good.
Northern 3 Edwards 65.
6 months ago,
This 12-year-old thought he was just out having a little fun. Where do you go before things get out of hand? He got help at a youth center. They got help from the United Way. All because the United Way got help from you. The United Way. It brings out the best in all of us.
Good morning. What's up?
Chip's been experimenting with Mom's wedding